1 second, please. Give me 1 minute.
all of you,
I'm confused between the seconds and the minutes. Yeah.
be careful what you say in front.
So let's start. Good evening, everyone. Let's commence our webinar today. I'm Hussein, representing 3G Sri Lanka. We have 3G members from other projects as well join here today, and we have a live stream of the session is being given in both YouTube and Facebook. Give me a moment. Okay. So I kindly request everyone to mute their audio when the session is on. If not, if you have mistakenly shout during the session, you'll be mistakenly shouting until YouTube exists. So be careful. So you can turn on the mic when our guest speaker insists to do so, or at the end of the session, we will have a Q&A session. So you can unmute your mic and ask your question at that time. So without any delay, let's begin our first program today. A short introduction on 3G will be given by the president of 3G International Management Team, Dr. Vinodini. To you, Dr. Vino.
Hello, everyone. A very good evening to everyone that able to make it for today's event. And I'm so happy to see our guest of honor, Mr. Sultan. You are very, it's a warm welcome to have you in our session today. All right, so let me just quickly, I'll probably take less than 5 minutes to share.
5 minutes is a long time. Just 1 minute for you to introduce me.
just
The rest my work will do.
Just less than that. All right. Okay. Let me quickly see.
I am Sultan Ismail. I'm an ecologist and I'm a teacher. My introduction is over. Am I right? Hello.
That part is for me, sir.
Okay, I'm not quite sure.
Don't take over.
My screen now? Are you able to see my screen?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yes, yeah. You are able to see.
Yes, we know.
Okay, you can see the 3G, right?
Yes.
The world is talking about 5G and 4G.
Hussein, are you seeing my 3G slides?
Yeah, Dr. Vino can.
Okay, all right.
Yes,
okay, so
can.
a quick introduction. Okay, this is 3G. 3G
You
stands
have
for Global
open in a
Gateway.
browser, right?
Yeah, you can see, right? I opened something in a browser. Can you see?
Yes.
Yeah, we are able to see it. We are able to see the first slide.
Yeah.
Okay. So, as everyone knows that 3G is a non-profitable global charity organization, basically now at the moment incorporated in Australia. So just a brief history, everybody quite familiar with this image, okay? All right, so just to have a quick understanding, actually 3G started in 2012 in Alustar, Kedah, Malaysia. So we actually started as a very small group called Silk. Then after that, under the Silk project, we produced a book called Feast, which consists about indigenous culture all over about 150 countries. So due to that, then our founder, which is Mr. John, found out that there is a compassionate heart of giving among our students in AIU. So he wanted to continue to inspire everyone. Hence, he started 3G that involved some recycling project in the campus, some charity projects, seminars, self-development, and a small get-together fellowship with almost about students from all over about 50 countries. So at the moment, we have active participation of 3G from Malaysia, Sri Lanka, 3G Cambodia, and 3G Thailand. We also have other 3G countries that actually already set up, but it's just waiting for us to to quick start with them. So at the moment, there are two countries of 3G which is upcoming, which is on under discussion, which is with Vanuatu and Kenya as well. All right, so we would like to just briefly introduce you the team. So basically, we have the management team, which is the international management team, involve Mr. John and his team. And on the education part, it's myself, and also we have other country representative from Fiji, Sri Lanka, from Philippines, from Bhutan, also from Cameroon, as well as from Myanmar, and also from Thailand, Bangladesh, and also Malaysia. So if you notice that some of the representative not updated, because we have new representative from Malaysia as well as new representative from Cambodia as well. All right. So basically, since 3G started in a aim of we are not going to solve the humanity problem, but the reason is we know that we can't solve any problem, but we could be a solution provider. That means always be there, being up to our compassionate heart to show ourselves that we care for the community, to the society, and also to the nature. So if you visit our site later, you probably could see what are the projects have been done by 3G Malaysia, Cambodia, Thailand, as well as Sri Lanka, because these are four 3G's country that have been actively involved. So 3G is basically focusing on eradicate poverty, focusing on to have equal education, no child left behind, and also we care for human healthcare, that everybody have equal to access to healthcare, and we would like to empower many people, especially women, men, children, in many areas, for example, in business and also in education as well. At the same time, we always focus on diversity. Since 3G is consists of members from various countries from all over the world, almost more than 50 countries. So we always focus on diversity. So basically, yeah, that is all about a small session about what is 3G. For us to get to know briefly what actually 3G all about and what are we doing. So I hand over to Hussein.
Thank you, Dr. Vino. Thank you very much. So, before we invite our guest speaker, I'd like to give a small announcement. In the chat area, you can, there's a link given. You can go to that link and place your questions during the session. So, the end of the session, there'll be a short Q&A session. So, in that Q&A session, your questions will be answered by our guest speaker. So those who are from Al-Bukhari International University might have met Dr. Sultan Ismail in an interactive session when we were in AIU. Dr. Sultan Ismail is a soil biologist, an ecologist, and a nature lover. He is the director of the EcoScience Research Foundation, a not-for-profit organization based in Chennai. To give a glimpse of ERF is a dedicated entity which works to improve the quality of life on Earth by being friends of the Earth. One of the objectives of ERF is to carry on research in life sciences, environmental and developmental issues, and to work towards improvement of the quality of the common man by taking up social and developmental issues, child education, environmental awareness and education, and waste management, etc. Dr. Sultan Ismail has done extensive work, both research and applied, on ecology and environment, earthworms, and organic inputs since 1970s. He was awarded CASME, Commonwealth Association of Science, Technology, and Mathematics Educators Award in 1994-95 in UK. Arinya Rana Award by the Department of Environment of the Government of Tamil Nadu for 2005. The Award of Excellence presented by His Excellency Governor of Jharkhand in December 2010. And notably among 300 plus participants at the first World Earthworm Industry Forum in China in June 2018. He has been awarded Special Contribution Award for Outstanding Contribution to Earthworm Industry, and also classified as one among the top 10 people of Tamil Nadu for 2013 by Ananda Vigadan. He has authored and co-authored multiple books, most popular amongst them, the Earthworm book, which has been translated into Tamil, Chinese, and Persian. He has also published about 80 research and review papers in national and international journals. So I would like to welcome Dr. Sultan Ismail to start the session on sustainable living, the way forward for Earth's sake. Up to you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Hussein. And it's a pleasure today to see both friends, Dr. Brito and Subarao on the other side of the screen. Unfortunately, you preferred Google Meet because in Google Meet, I can only see my presentation. I cannot see any pictures or faces over here. Anyway, I was Hussein and Fasia who interacted with me. Thanks for inviting me and look forward for a wonderful session for the evening. The 3G, fascinated me because the world has been discussing about 4G and 5G. And in this 3G, the symbol symbolized me very much because there are 3 dots according to some, but according to Tamil literature, it is Ak. There's a final alphabet. So I wish that John Brito preferred that alphabet because he wants to end all the problems which are happening over here on Earth with the help of participants and volunteers. So good luck to the team. Let me take you through the journey. Relax. First is relax. Just relax. Watch. I take you through this journey of sustainable living, the way forward. Basically, I prefer to call myself a teacher because a teacher never retires. Professors retire. John Brito will retire. Vinodini will retire. All of you will retire, but a teacher never retires. So I enjoy to be called as a teacher. I'm not going to talk anything new. I'm just going to explain certain concepts which you already are aware of. And I believe in seeking knowledge from the cradle to the grave. So in this process, because you are all youngsters and students who have been trained by Dr. John Brito initially, I wanted to bring a particular thing to you. Children, you would be now using your presentations wherever you go, most of you students. And as volunteers of 3G, you may be talking to people with the help of your PowerPoint presentations. PowerPoint has become common. It's only a presentation. I don't use PowerPoint. I don't use Microsoft. I use another software. But it has become common to call it as PowerPoint. Unfortunately, there's a word now called as death by PowerPoint. People have learned to just write point after point, present it, and kill people's interest while they do a presentation. So most of you youngsters who are going to go into this realm of teaching people also understand how to prepare a presentation as we go through. Today, environment is attacked by 6 major bullets. 6 major bullets. 1, solid waste is a problem. 2, effluence is a problem, industry and other places. 3, encroachment. Rich people have the dareness as well as the influence to occupy positions which they're not supposed to occupy. They occupy wetlands, they do constructions on wetlands, they do all sorts of things, like what's happening. For example, Subbarao and his group have been fighting with the hilly region of Penang. So all these problems happen over there as encroachments. Soil use pattern, how we use the soil and treat the soil. Hazardous chemicals being discharged into the environment. And of course, one of the most important one, water use pattern. Maybe our mismanagement of this group, mismanagement of all this is also one of the main reasons for COVID-19 to survive over here. People talk about climate change. You as volunteers of 3G, please understand. There's one mic which is on. If you can switch it on, that off, that will be better. Somebody who has been moving things and there's a noise disturbance, please. Thank you. Climate change has become such a common word today. The phone calls, everything is coming over here. Can you please switch off that mic? Who is using that mic, please? Which is giving the buzzer sound, which is creating a noise over here and disturbance. Please. Thank you. No, not yet. They are breathing now. Hello? Whoever is having his mic on, can you please switch it off? You are coughing, you are scratching, your phone is creating a buzzer sound. Can you please switch it off? Thank you. No, you are not yet switched off. Hussein, can
She's
you please
having
find out
some
who it
connection
is?
issues, I think. Yeah, I think
I think
I will
can switch
take
it.
mute, yeah.
Is it okay? Thank you. No, people talk about climate change. And when you go over there as a NGO, many people talk about restoration. I'm very allergic to this word. In fact, even today morning, one of the institutions called me up and said that they would like to do lake restoration. Who are we to restore? Please understand this concept. A person is traveling by a two-wheeler, meets with an accident, and the leg is amputated. If I can give back the original leg, that is restoration. But I cannot give back the original leg. So I give a wooden leg, and that is rehabilitation. What we are trying to do for our environment is rehabilitation. Human beings cannot restore nature. We can only rehabilitate. Nature knows how to restore itself. And this rehabilitation can be through two processes. One, mitigation. That's why probably we have all met today evening. The second one, I don't care, adaptation, where we would like to adapt ourselves for the changing criteria. Major things which I want you people to understand and share information to your people wherever you go and talk. We have this habit of classifying right from school days, from school into college, into university, wherever ecology is taught. People classify it as living and non-living. People tell, teachers tell in classrooms, volunteers tell their participants that air is non-living. And then we all tell that we are living. But one important criteria we forget to tell is, if you remove the non-living air from my body, I become non-living. I am living, but I am removing the non-living air from my body, and I become non-living. Water is non-living. We are living. Remove non-living water from our body, we become non-living. This relationship between living and non-living has to be strengthened. And in Indian culture, we also include two other components, the space and the fire, and we call it as the Panchabhutas. That's our ecosystem. Beautiful birds, butterflies, human beings, plants, animals, all put together as an ecosystem. And in this ecosystem, two important criteria take place. One, energy flows. Energy flows, nutrient cycle. Energy flows, nutrient cycle. Nutrient cycle. Now, please have this in mind to understand this concept. I have always played with students asking this question as to who eats more. The elephant eats more or the dog eats more. The general answer given to me by many children and even teachers sometimes is that the elephant eats more. Please understand the concept of ecology over here when we communicate with people. The weight of an elephant is about 5,000 kgs, 5 tons. Weight of a dog is about 20 kgs. If I have to feed the elephant for the whole day, I may give 50 kg of grass because the volume is plenty. For a dog, maximum I can give would be 1 kg of meat. Food or medicine is always calculated based on the weight of the organism. There's a reason when you go to the doctor first takes your height and weight because he has to prescribe medicine according to your weight. So 5,000 kg elephant eats 50 kg of grass. So 1 kg body weight of elephant eats how much? If you calculate, you get about 10 grams. Whereas a dog eats 50 grams. So who eats more? Dog eats more. A dog eats more than an elephant. Why should a dog eat more than an elephant? Because the elephant is occupying the first level here, who eats the grass which directly fixes the energy from the sun. Whereas the dog eats the meat of an animal which has eaten the grass which has fixed the energy. So as you go higher, they have to consume more to obtain the same level of energy. That is the reason why we are all vegetarians. We Asians are all vegetarians. Hussein sitting in Malaysia will be moving his head this way because there's so much of non-vegetarian food eaten. But if you go to a reasonable hotel which serves you vegetarian and non-vegetarian meal and order for a meal, The meal will contain rice. Rice is vegetarian. Chapati or paratha or puri, which is vegetarian. Salad, vegetarian. Sweet, vegetarian. Curd, vegetarian. And in one small bowl, you may take 2 pieces of meat or 2 pieces of fish or 2 pieces of chicken. We Asians are predominantly vegetarians because energy flow pattern is based on that way. We don't eat like what the Westerners eat. This is a very important word. As volunteers of 3G, please understand. This word ECO, derived from the Greek word oikos, which is pronounced as echo. So this is pronounced as echo. This word means home. Home, house, home. If I study about the home, it is ecology. If I evaluate the home, it is economy. The problem today is a clash between these two. Ecology and economy is clashing with each other. And in this clash, something burns, and that is ecology, because everybody wants economy. Biodiversity. Bio means diversity. Bio means life. Diversity means variety. Now, if you understand, 5th June, the theme for 2020-21 is Celebrate Biodiversity. Please remember this term, Celebrate Biodiversity. In Tamil, we'll call it as Palluir Kondaduvom. Celebrate Biodiversity. Please remember it. This is our Asian biodiversity. All sorts of vegetables. And even if you take okra, that's lady's finger, tomato, if I take Indian context, we have several varieties. We have beautiful flowers, lovely birds, magnificent animals. And that is where this component started. The clash between the Western cattle and the Indian cattle. Because people started talking about A1 milk, A2 milk, which is good, which is not so good. So if you look at the traditional cattle of Asia, it will have a hump. The Western cattle has no hump. The generic names Bos indicus for the Asian cattle. Bos taurus, Taurus you all know, zodiac sign, is the Western cattle. So if I look this as a Desi, then this becomes a Pardesi. Fine. Everything went on well. Suddenly the governments have thought that the bull is a nuisance. Please understand these concepts because I want you people to be updated with what's happening on ecology. A new technology which I have printed in blue, Bellsville sperm sexing technology. In this technology, people have thought that the bull is a nuisance. It's not required anymore. So they collect the semen from the stud bull and through this new technology, they segregate the sperms as X chromosome based sperms and Y chromosome based sperms. Y chromosome based sperms alone give birth to a male calf. So they are eliminated. Using only X chromosome sperms, straws are prepared, and these straws are used to fertilize the cows so that only female cows will be born. On one side, we celebrate biodiversity. Here, one bull produces enormous numbers of sperms. So the same bull sperms will be segregated. So same diversity will continue. Please understand what's happening around. Many countries started. India has also started. Maybe some of your countries will also be starting it soon. Now, once you do with cattle, you will start doing it with every other animal possible. So on one side, we will be trying to spoil the gene pool. If you go on the other side, if you take poultry, many people started calling your native breeds as Nattukoli, country chicken. I think even in Australia, in Malaysia, in Sri Lanka, you all started calling it as country chicken. It's your own biodiversity, man. We started naming it. And we started calling this Mediterranean chicken as chicken. And this Mediterranean chicken, when I was born, when I was young, in about 70 days, it would stand straight. But today's chicken in 48 days starts with its legs apart, unable to bear its own weight. Heavy treatments of hormones, antibiotics. And how are they done? They are done as sort of a chain where people sit together, have injections, and keep pumping in. Hormones are pumped in, antibiotics are pumped in. Now we have gone to extreme. We can't wait even till the chicken can lay its egg. We want to snatch the egg. So the moment these poultry are ready in the morning, they are hung up and egg is taken away from the end part of the body. See, the eggs are taken out. This has no egg. This has no egg. You have an egg, give it to me. Extreme. Then we talk about fish. And I'm talking to all participants who come from the coastal zones where we eat a lot of fish. If you think about freshwater fish, these are the three important freshwater fish: katla, rohu, and mrigal. But most of us are from the marine oceans, so we prefer pomfret or seer or mackerels or sardines. All this we used to eat. But today, many people culture a fish called as basa, Pangasius bukurti. It's a catfish. The skin is removed, the bone is removed, the fillet are prepared, chemically treated to bleach them up, and then forms into a sort of an ice cake and exported to countries. This is thawed and then beautifully baked with the breadcrumbs on the top and served to you so beautifully that you feel that you are taking a delicacy, but actually you are taking a chemically treated, artificially cultured fish. Most of the hotels are serving this. Maybe it's true in all your countries as well. So should I eat fish? Yes, you must eat fish. But next time when you go there, order for a small fish or a slice which has bones in it. Because this fish bones are removed because export, nobody can pay for the bones which are being exported. So they make only fillet. Why all these thoughts are coming to me is because, as an ecologist, people say that we have to protect the tiger. Very good. But understand the concept here. If I have to protect the tiger, for example, in a jungle, requires one deer, man, and it eats the deer, and it is full, stomach is full. I expect that the deer may not attack another animal till its stomach is full. So I presume that if this tiger requires one deer per week, for easy calculation, there will not be one tiger, there will be several tigers in the forest, but one tiger takes one deer per week. That means it requires 52 tigers per year. If this single tiger has to take 52 deers from a population, there should be at least 520 deers in the population every time so that it keeps on taking deers. If 520 deers have to be there, there should be 5,200 acres of land growing fodder. And that should have a good, healthy soil to support it. I will not build up the soil. I will not grow the fodder. I don't care about the deers, but I want to protect the tiger. I hope you got the point. The same thing today is happening with the elephants. A single elephant requires minimum 0.75 square kilometers to 1 kilometer area per day for this fellow to walk around, eat grass, take the leaves, drink water, and come back. And usually elephants don't move alone. They move in groups. And look at this last elephant, naughty fellow. He's turning back and saying, come on guys, because the second batch is approaching. So they all walk together. And so many elephants, when they walk, they require so much of vegetation. They require so much of water. And the path through which they walk is called as the elephant corridor. What we do is we put a road in between the elephant corridor. And then we blame the animals for crossing them. One more very important thing which I would like to mention here is most of these mammals, that's the big animals, they usually attract microorganisms, which can be pests, which can be symbiotic, like virus, bacteria, fungi, all these things. Now, once you put a road across them, most of these mammals move away from that place. And if they move away, then these microorganisms look for who can be the next victim. Very soon there will be a tea stall coming, there will be a restaurant coming, and somebody will put plots, sell the property for human beings to stay in, and these microorganisms start attacking them. These diseases are called as zoonoses, and the disease is called as zoonotic diseases. In fact, corona is also one of the zoonoses. It has come to us through the bats. So please understand that all this human-animal conflict today may lead to a lot of zoonotic diseases in the future. Asia reveres the cow. Fair enough. Once upon a time, cattle was part of our system. And from this cattle, we collected the cow dung, we prepared dry cow dung cakes, we prepared manure, and then the biogas plant came in. Soon after, the tractor came in. And once the tractor came, we said, we don't need you guys. You can get lost because we have the tractor. But the tractor does not give us the dung. Tractor does not give the dung. Moreover, you see, when we started plowing the soil, when we plow the soil starts coming up. And this aerates the soil. The soil starts coming up and aerates the soil. But when I use a very heavy machine, it compacts the soil. So I get pockets of compaction. And once it compacts, the air escapes. And when the soil air escapes, soil organisms perish. I hope you're able to understand this chain. And once soil organisms perish, there is decline in productivity. And if you imagine a tree, I hope you children know that we at an average consume 550 liters of oxygen per day. How much? Each one of us average 550 liters of oxygen per day. In Indian currency, one small can of oxygen today costs 6,500 rupees, which means we consume 13 lakh rupees worth of oxygen per day, which is equivalent to 1,300 US dollars per day. Can you imagine? I want you people to talk to your participants about this. And one well-grown tree contributes how much? 3 million US dollars per year. That much of oxygen. So every tree produces this oxygen. So in case you would like to grow trees, but unfortunately people look at trees as money. In fact, today I was very happy to see that the government, the High Court judge has declared that any useful tree should not be cut down in the name of construction of roads. I wish they follow it. Because when you cut the trees, the soil is exposed to nature. And when it rains, the soil splashes. And all this excess soil goes away into the sea. This topsoil. Nature at an average takes 250 to 400 years to build up 1 inch of soil. 1 inch of soil. And this soil, we're just sending it out into the sea. That's where brings to my beautiful personal interest, soil. Basically, I'm a soil biologist. I started this research in 78, 79 to work on soils. I started teaching in 1974. Something attracted me to go beyond the concepts of just mechanical, because, like any book calls soil as a non-living mineral matter. And when I said, no, soil is living, then there was a revolt. People asked me whether soil has a digestive system. Because when you say it is living, it must have a digestive system. All students participating and youth participating in 3G, please understand this concept. Supposing you find a dead animal lying on top of the soil, a small calf or a dog or a cat lying dead on top of the soil, and you are walking that way, in the second day, third day, it starts stinking. Terrible stink. You dig a pit, put the cat or dog or the calf or whatever it is inside the soil, close it. What happens? You don't get the stink? Yes, you don't get the stink. But what is happening inside? Yeah, as you rightly said, it's getting completely, slowly composted, decomposed, taken away by the soil. But who is acting on it? Microorganisms, bacteria. If you start thinking, who is acting in your small intestine? Same bacteria. So if there is bacteria in your intestine and doing a job, you call it as a digestive system. So logically, I can say that the soil has a digestive system. Clear? Then they ask me, what does it have a respiratory system? Yeah, just like you and I, we take in oxygen, give out carbon dioxide. In the same way, soil takes in oxygen, gives out carbon dioxide. So soil logically has a respiratory system. Somebody got angry and asked me, does soil have a circulatory system? Now, when you're walking on the road and your toe, which is on the leg, the big thumb on the leg, which is called as the big toe, gets hurt. It's hurt badly. You go to the doctor. The doctor gives you a tablet. Do you feed the tablet to your leg or do you put the tablet in your mouth? Naturally in the mouth. If you put the tablet in the mouth, how does the medicine reach the toe? The circulatory system takes it. Your blood takes it to the toe and repairs it. You have plants at home. Do you pull the plant every day and feed the roots? No. You put fertilizer or compost or manure on the top. You put water on the top. How does it go to the roots? Through the circulatory system created by the soil organisms which live in the soil. So logically speaking, soil has a circulatory system. Then they asked me, does it have an excretory system? You and I, after this session, may visit the restroom because we have to throw out urea. Urea is a salt. We have to throw out urea. If our urea doesn't come out, it becomes uremia, which can kill us. So whenever we have excess of salt in the body, we go and throw it out in the form of urine. Soils, if they are saline soils and sodic soils, where the salt content is high, such soils don't take the salt inside. They bring it and throw it outside. Is that clear? So soil has an excretory system. Then they ask me, take away. Now you tell me whether it has a reproductive system. And that's a good question. You all know about test tube babies? You would have read, right? We call it as IVF, in vitro fertilization. Now, in vitro fertilization, the sperm and the ova are fertilized in the lab and their zygote is formed. ठीक है. Where should the zygote be kept to grow? You can't keep it in an incubator. You have to keep the zygote in the uterus of a lady, of a woman, of a mother. Only then it develops. Your tissue culture plants, where should you keep to develop? You have to plant them in the soil. Only then they will grow. So soil logically has a reproductive system. I used to talk about this for a long time when somebody asked me whether soil has a brain. That was good because, in Tamil culture, in fact, when I was in school, I was very bad in mathematics. And my maths teacher would always tell me, "O mandala kaliman irukku." That means you have soil in your head. There's no brain. So if I meet my teacher anymore, I would tell him, thank you for the compliment. Because when I started thinking whether soil has a brain, soil has a brain. You dig a pit and put any biomass, cow dung or straw or anything, it will decompose. It will form a compost. But you plant a seed, it germinates. A soil knows what to compost and what to germinate. So soil, logically speaking, has a brain. Now this beautiful soil should have a lovely smell. And this lovely smell comes because of organic matter and soil organisms. India has very bad organic matter today. India has only 0.5% organic matter in soil when it should have 2 to 5%. In fact, Sri Lanka, Malaysia, all these countries should have 2 to 5% organic matter. Do we have? We don't have. Can you start working on it? People spoke about soil fertility for a long time. You see, unfortunately, what happened was, in Tamil, we call it as man valam. Soil fertility, it so happened, if you, supposing, I do not know the conditions in Sri Lanka and Malaysia and Thailand and other countries, the various other countries where 3G is operating. But normally, when I take soil sample and give it to a soil testing laboratory, they will analyze the soil and they will give a report. This report will say N, nitrogen, P, phosphate, K, potash values, pH, electroconductivity, 4 or 8 micronutrients, and then there will be one more paragraph, recommendation. In recommendation, they will say add so much of urea, so much of DAP, so much of potash. So soil fertility got related to soil fertilizers. It became a business. So in non-chemical farming, we call it as soil health. Mannalam. How healthy your soil is. Other microorganisms, other earthworms, and what's the smell of the soil, the beauty of the soil. We, by experience, developed some indicators for soil, which has been working out very well for me. You as 3G volunteers, if you're going to help somebody in Sri Lanka or Malaysia, if you want to know whether your soil is really fertile or not, just take a cow for a walk. What? Got my point? Cow for a walk and allow it to drop its dung. So the cow dung is there. Leave it for 2-3 days. You don't disturb it at all. After 2-3 days, if it dries like a pat, which we call it as variety, that means there is no moisture in the soil and there are no microorganisms and microarthropods or earthworms. But if this cow dung becomes granular, granular, that means there are a large number of microorganisms, moisture is there, microarthropods are there, and earthworms are there. Take a stick, move this dung, you will find lot of organismic activity, which means your soil is healthy. Very simple things. It's time, especially Sri Lanka, you guys have to teach your farmers a lot over there. They need it. Please help them. Please help them. And most of the soils in Malaysia, because I happen to work with consumer along with Subbarao and his team, and we have analyzed several soils over there, and we found that most of the soils are nutrient depleted. Nutrient depleted soil produces nutrient depleted food. And the nutrients in the food has started depleting for a long time. This is where I want you to understand. I told you about the tiger. We will take care of the tiger. We will not bother about the soil. So the government of India has brought a proposal that they want to fortify food and sell it. That is, they will add the nutrients to the harvested food. We will not take care of the soil. We will not take care of the farmer, but we will harvest the food, take it to the industry, fortify it, and sell it to the consumer. It is something like, once upon a time, if you ask your elders, especially Asian origin, if you ask your elders, salt prepared from the sea would be brought in baskets tied behind a bicycle, and he will keep shouting, "Uppa!" And we used to buy from him. Gradually, the government's informed that salt should be iodized. And now who is selling salt? Companies are selling salt. Corporates are selling salt. Is that clear? The same thing will happen with food, where a farmer may not be able to sell his produce directly to the people, because once these new rules are brought in, policies, it would become very difficult. Please understand what's happening. Please understand. And we use a lot of chemical fertilizers, pesticide. We, not just India, Malaysia also had done a survey when I presented to CACAP. Lots of chemical fertilizers and pesticides are used. And all our Asian countries, we say that our production is increasing. But to be honest, you go and ask any farmer in Asian countries, how much they harvested before per hectare or per acre, and how much they are harvesting now. After 2000, it started depleting. This is how farmers take pesticide. And this is how they mix it up. And this is how they spray. The industry who manufactures pesticides says, put on this mask. We all know that during this period, the corona, even the so-called cloth mask, we are not able to wear it the whole day. We feel suffocating. Can you expect a farmer in Asia with our temperatures to put on this sort of a big mask with all the puffs and the rubber gloves and work on it? It's impossible. So the farmers get exposed to pesticides. Excess pesticide goes into the ground and completely contaminates the groundwater. Sri Lanka and Malaysia. Malaysia has a lot of compounds. We call it as kampongs, villages. Sri Lanka also has a lot of villages. And all these villages depend on groundwater for their drinking purposes. 3G, please take an effort. Many children in these rural areas suffer with stomach pain. And the doctors and Vaidyams, they always feel that this is because of that roundworm, Ascaris. We call it as the roundworm. But usually it is not because of the roundworm. It is because of nitrate contamination in water and pesticide contamination in water. There are simple water analysis kits available. 3G, you can buy those kits, walk around these villages, identify, and try to warn the people which water to drink and which not to drink. That itself can be a great contribution. It doesn't require much effort. These kits are available for an Indian cost of about 1,000 rupees, which is maybe almost same with Sri Lanka and Malaysia. It will be much less. So this is what happened. Man invented agriculture, and he has added so much of unlimited of chemicals and other things into it that the agriculture has become ugly culture. I happened to meet this farmer, beautiful farmer, wonderful farmer. He had a lovely farm, all tomatoes. The border crop is marigold. Marigold is an excellent flower. Those of you who are trying to advise people to grow terrace gardens and other gardens at home, ask them to have at least 1 or 2 marigold plants. Marigold is a pest repellent. It repels the pest. So I congratulated and complimented this guy because he has a tomato farm with marigold around. You can see even marigold behind. At the last edge also you can see marigold. You see here behind, full of marigold. But he laughed at me. He laughed at me and told me that he is growing because there is a temple nearby and they pay him a lot of money. And what does he do for the tomato? He uses endosulfan. Sri Lanka uses endosulfan. Malaysia uses endosulfan, one of the nastiest chemicals. India, many countries have banned it. India has brought in a ban, but yet to completely remove from the system. Now, this endosulfan is so corrosive. This is what it does to the farmer's hands. This is an Indian farmer. This is a Malaysian farmer. Subbarao may recollect this picture. This is again from Teni. A farmer uses endosulfan on chilies. Right? Farmers from Andhra Pradesh. This is what happens. And then what we do is we burn things. Sri Lanka, you also do it. Farmers, they think that by burning municipal waste, they can produce ash. And ash is rich in nutrients. Yes, ash is rich in nutrients. No doubt about it. But what is burnt? Plastics are also burnt. Rubber is also burnt as a waste. Now, this produces dioxins, both in the atmosphere and your water beneath the soil. Create awareness. Please create awareness. This is a train which goes every day from Bathinda in Punjab to Bikaner in Rajasthan, carrying at least 100 farmers every day with cancer. And the train is called as the Cancer Express. Kindly Google for Cancer Express. You'll get more information about it. So what we are eating in the plate? Poison. Poison. All these complications have started coming and increasing. You all know about it. And inhalers. Today, every child has started using inhalers because of air quality, because of all these components. Fruits, let us eat fruits. But most of the fruits are ripened with the help of chemicals. Ethylene, acetylene, calcium carbide. How do I know, sir? How do I know that it's being ripened? By these sort of things which are being imported, ripeners. If you buy a banana, a green banana ripens in this fashion. If you find a banana at stage 4, having the dots of stage 14, it's a green peel, but has all the dots on it. That means they have ripened it with chemicals. Yellow banana ripens from one end to another end. If you find dark green at both the ends with yellow in the middle, they have used chemicals. So this is what happens. This is what we studied when we were kids. A for apple, B for biscuit, C for chocolate, D for dosa. But children hereforth will study A for anemia, B for bronchitis, C for cancer, and D for diabetics. So what the child today eats and drinks, is it safe? Not safe. Not at all safe. So can we do some resource management? Can 3G volunteers take over this? Can 3G volunteers do this effort? One of them is Vermitech. Incidentally, I coined the term Vermitech for the world in 1992. If you know the term Vermitech, Vermi is worm, earthworm, tech is technology. There are 3 types of worms throughout the world. Throughout the world. I'm not going into the names, just understand. Sri Lanka, Malaysia, we have seen already. Sri Lanka, I have been able to see these worms' eyes when I came there for a project. You have worms on the surface of the earth called as epijaic. Epi means above, jaic means earth. Worms which keep making burrows up and down, they are anasic. Anasic means intermediate. And the third are the endogeic. Endo means inside the soil. These are the 3 varieties. Of these 3 varieties, I have myself seen variety 1 and 2 in Sri Lanka, variety 1 in Malaysia. But unfortunately, we use this imported variety, Euryalus euchinii, for composting purposes. So if you are going to do composting, it's very simple. First, decompose the product. Let the heat go away. After the heat goes, introduce the worms and keep a dry cow dung pat on the top. That's vermicompost production. Vermiculture and vermicompost. Very simple. And if you want to know where can I get the dry cow dung pat, is it available? Yes, it is available on Amazon, on Flipkart, on Big Basket. Why I'm trying to show this slide is look at the cost of it. Flipkart sells one piece at 276. At what cost do they buy from the farmer? Amazon sells it 140 rupees a piece. You can understand what is happening, right? And that is vermicompost. Simple process which you people can start. Please remember, whenever you do composting, the greener the leaves, nitrogen will be more. The dry the leaves, carbon will be more. That's why nature balances by dropping both types of leaves so that composting continues. Very simple process. Put some sticks at the base, add biomass onto it, and you must add microbes in it, microorganisms. The easiest and best source of microorganisms is cow dung. Just dilute cow dung, add it to it. Very simple. It's ready. Cover it with a loose polythene. Inside, temperature increases. Bug, 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 bug. It becomes hot. It's really hot. It can go till about 60, 62 degrees Celsius. And once it goes hot, all the unwanted pathogens, unwanted pests, unwanted seeds, they all perish. And then after about 15 days or so, we turn it over when steam comes out. After another 15 to 25 days, the whole thing comes down. Cool it, give it to the worms, compost is ready. This compost, you need not sieve it if you are going to use it yourself. But if you want to sell it, it is better to sieve it. So when you sieve it, it looks beautiful like a compost. That's vermicompost for you. Very simple mechanism. You can do it at home. This is one interesting composting which I thought 3G members I could share with you, because I want you to talk to your people, talk to your residents, and make it very simple. Ask them to take 7 flower pots. Very simple procedure. Label it as Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. You know those flower pots always have an opening at the base. It's not necessarily flower pot. Any dabba which is lying at home is okay. Base, you will put some gravel, black stones, which you use to put the roads, tar roads, those stones. On top of it, little bit of soil. So the filter unit is ready. Sunday's vegetable waste. Always start with vegetable waste. Don't add non-vegetarian waste till you are comfortable how to do composting, because otherwise it will stink. Chop the vegetables, put it in the Sunday pot. Take little cow dung, dilute in water, sprinkle it. Sir, I live in an apartment. I don't get cow dung. Then use bitter sour curd, not bitter, sour curd. Pulchatayr. Use very sour curd, dilute in water, sprinkle it. It has lactobacilli, it has streptococci, all those microorganisms are there. Put a little bit of soil on the top. Monday's waste in Monday pot. Tuesday's waste in Tuesday pot. So you're going to come back to Sunday pot after 7 days. Part of it is digested. In a month, you will add 4 times. Once you have added 4 times, each pot, once you add 4 times, take a stick, slowly mix it up. Over. For a small household, it takes 3 months to 5 months for all the 7 pots to be full. Once it is full, sprinkle little water, take the stick, mix it up, leave it for another 15-20 days. Now each pot is containing what? Compost, soil, water, all the nutrients. In one pot you plant lady's finger, in one pot you plant eggplant, in one pot you put tomato, in one you put palak, your vegetable garden is ready. Very simple process. Else, you can do a ring garden. Just because of love, I still maintain the picture we took at Malaysia. I hope Subbarao remembers this, near the old CAPS building. Even though I've done it in several other places, I still remember and cherish those memories. So you take a 3 feet dia and make a ring. Mark it. Don't take a scale to measure it. Roughly 3 feet. And in the middle, 1.5 feet. And remove the soil and put it around it. In the center alone, you can add cow dung, because cow dung is essential, or sour curd, which will attract the microorganisms and the soil earthworms to come over there. After you start adding your waste, vegetable waste after that time, after about 15-20 days, and then it starts multiplying. And after another 10 or 15 days, start planting your spinach, coriander, pudina, mint on the inner side, tomato, eggplant, and lady's finger on the outer side. On one side, you are handling waste. On the other side, you are harvesting vegetables. Some of my previous students who started working on it, Manivannan and Radha, and that's nutrition garden, which you can start working on. This is what we have been teaching to a lot of homemakers here in Chennai. It's a very simple process, which you can easily do it, and I wish 3G goes and teaches it. While working on these things, I designed this unit, which is very simple unit for composting purposes. I designed it with one side open because it is easy for people to operate. And this was designed by my student Dakshayani for Godrej company, where you do the composting first, and then that compost is given to worms, and the worms produce vermicompost. Many people are doing it now. This is a government initiative. He's a district education executive officer, Mr. Kesavan, who does a wonderful job. Waste management. All this you can start. Sugar industry, you can easily do it. This is for Maduranthakam sugar industry. This is our State Institute for Rural Development, which is doing a wonderful job. Wonderful job. I have been advising them, and the Government of India's projects use these slides for their work. Right? This is my country, India. This is our real Tamil Nadu. Wherever village I go, they open up the temple for me to talk to the people. Now, after I speak to them in the temple, I go to the field and demonstrate the whole thing. That's the beauty of Tamil Nadu. And this is the latest one which I have designed for the Zoology Park Zoo here in Chennai, Vandalur Zoo. On 30th October, we inaugurated it. A huge structure for all the animal dung which is generated at the zoological gardens. So you, Colombo, you can go and advise your Colombo Zoo to do it. It's very simple. Those who are doing vermicomposting, please keep an eye on this chap. You can see its head. It is triangle in shape. This chap, if he comes, he eats away the earthworms. So be careful. When you see this, just take it with a stick and put it in salt water. It will die. Any composting you do will attract this fellow. Sri Lanka and Malaysia, because both of you also have coconuts. Sri Lanka particularly because you have a very good coconut industry. Any composting, any organic matter decomposition will attract this. Now, these are the larvae which grow into rhinoceros beetle. And rhinoceros beetle will attack coconut trees. So if you are doing composting in a coconut plantation, you also have poultry with you. The poultry, the hens, they go and feed on the larvae, and it's a delicacy for them. So it's a beautiful cycle you can develop. But I am worried about something. Is people have brought in this machine saying that in 24 hours they can produce compost. It is actually foolish. You cannot produce compost in 24 hours. You can reduce the volume of organic matter in 24 hours. So if somebody comes to your industry and says, we have a machine which can produce compost in 24 hours, you just ask that person one question. Whether that person was born in 10 months or in 10 minutes. Is it possible to be born in 10 minutes? No. Compost cannot be formed in 24 hours. If at all you want to produce some end product in 24 hours, you invest in another machine, a biodigester. Excellent. And that is cattle. You feed the cattle with all the green material, it will give you manure in about 24 hours. And this could be used for biogas production, or it can be used for compost production, whichever is possible. Why I'm talking all this is, supposing you are going on a picnic and you take the fish, and you want to keep this fish to take it home after 2-3 days. You want to take it home after 2-3 days. You don't have a refrigerator. You don't have ice with you. But the fish is dead. So what will you do? You add salt. If you add salt, microorganisms don't multiply. They don't multiply. And this fish becomes dry fish. The same thing is happening to our soil. We are adding salts to the soil. Nitrate is a salt of nitrogen, phosphate is a salt of phosphorus, potash is a salt of potassium. I keep adding these salts. What happens to my soil? It's becoming a karwad. See, one more question is, when you take too much of salt along with your food, what do you require immediately? Water. There is a saying in Tamil, Uppu thinnava, thanni kudiche aganum. So if you have to take salt, you must drink water. So soils are demanding water, and we don't have water. This is what happens. Chemicals you add up, the soil demands more water. Organic field retains moisture. One more thing for you children to go and talk to, especially volunteers of 3G, when you're going to talk to people. Supposing my left hand has edema and my right hand is normal. My left hand will look beautiful. The hand with the edema looks beautiful because it is solid like a potato and red like a tomato. Now, why does it become like that? It becomes like that because salt goes and stays over there. And when salt stays, water comes to the same area. Clear? So if you go and buy a rich gourd, pirkankai, turai, if you buy the vegetable, it looks solid if it is chemically grown because there is plenty of water in it. You buy it, bring it and keep it in your house in 2 days. If you don't keep it in the fridge, it will start rotting. Whereas an organic vegetable may not look so solid, but it has all good nutrient qualities in them. Remember that. One more mistake which is regularly happens is this. Especially volunteers of 3G, when you go to your own institutes, just keep a watch tomorrow. If you happen to go to your university or to your colleges or wherever you work, please remember, when it rains and I hold the umbrella, water falls around me and not on me. Clear? If I don't have an umbrella and I stand under the shade of the tree, like these froggies are sitting under the mushroom, then a few drops may fall on my head, but the rest will fall around the tree. Now, why should water fall around the tree? It falls around the tree because nature is a great teacher. It falls around the tree because the roots which drink are there. So where should I water a tree? I should water a tree where the canopy ends, or at least 2 to 2.5 feet from the trunk. But what do we do in our learned institutions? We water near the trunk. Are you able to understand? Please start with terrace gardens. India has already started. Many people are doing it in Tamil Nadu and in the country, especially during the pandemic. So the moment you will go and tell people, the people will say, no, my house is an old house. I have an old terrace. The last wall of the house is called as a boundary wall. And this boundary wall is also called as a load-bearing wall. So you can grow about 3 feet from the load-bearing wall. Also, our old houses will have beams. So you can also grow on either side of the beam, 3 feet. To further reduce the weight, you can have this sort of casuarina or bamboo sticks made to distribute the weight and grow vegetables in bags. You can also mix soil with coconut waste to reduce the weight. Immediately people tell me is, sir, we live in apartments, sir. We don't have soil, sir. We don't have soil. How much of soil is required to grow a plant? To grow mint, pudina, you require only 4 inches of soil. And to grow this fenugreek, methi, vendium, which is very good. Today, every hotel, you go to any Indian hotel in Malaysia or Sri Lanka, they will say methi roti, methi paratha, methi puri, vendium, fenugreek. To grow, what you require is just a sweet box with holes at the base, and it grows. It's very simple. 12th day or 15th day, you harvest, make your own vendikirai. One of my students started teaching school children to grow them in coconut shells. And today they have perfected it. And another student, Archana, grows them beautifully in coconut shells. So it's your space in the heart, what is required, not space in the balcony. Is that clear? Very simple. This is my balcony, my own balcony. I mix toys with plants to attract children to play with it. How much of water should I give to the plant? Many of your homemakers, especially Subbarao teaches all this home gardening to people in Malaysia. You know, many people kill their plants by drowning them, excess water. You see, if I come to your place and ask for water, you may give me a glass of water. If I have to have a bath, you may give me a bucket of water. If you have to swim, you may show me a swimming pool. So what a plant requires is soil moisture, not soil water. So don't overwater your plants. Those of you in Sri Lanka, please understand that in Malaysia, there is a limitation. In Sri Lanka, farmers can have cattle on their things. So if they have cattle, please ask them to put in 2 tanks, one for borewell water and one for cattle shed washing. You know, cattle sheds are washed every day. Even in Malaysia, it was there. We designed for one of the units, but it never took off. This is what happens. You wash the cattle shed, collect the water. You take the cow dung for making biogas. But whatever little cow dung is stuck, that is enough. Switch on both the motors. The big one is borewell water. This front one is the cattle shed washing. When we bring it out, 90% borewell water, 10% cattle shed washing, goes straight to the field, and automatically the soil becomes rich in organic matter. Very simple. Teach this to your farmers, please. And immediately farmers will say, sir, this is all okay, but I get a lot of pests. If you get pests in your farm, meet a professor. Let me have the pleasure of introducing to Professor Goat. Goat is a very intelligent animal. Take goat for a walk. Take goat for a walk in that farm. Whatever the goat eats, leave it. What it does not want to eat, take that. Take those leaves. Right? You look at this slide, which came up and went. This particular seed, this particular plant is called as Ada Toda. It comes from a Tamil name, Adu Todadadu, which means the goat doesn't touch. So take this sort of plants which a goat doesn't touch, crush them, put them in a pot, ferment them, take this liquid, dilute it, spray it. You have a wonderful, beautiful pest repellent ready. Teach it to the farmers. You can prepare a lot of foliar sprays. You can go through this later. Vermi-wash is one of them. The barrel is the first barrel I created in 1982. It costed me 200 rupees. It's Vermi-wash. Panchakavya is very good. All these details are available even in my website. You can even source it open source. Or people from Malaysia, you can ask Subarao. Farmers EM, very simple process using fruits. If you don't have these fruits, use any fruit or vegetable you have. You can standardize it yourself. Please. Fish, Malaysia and Sri Lanka. You can teach poor people who live near coastal areas, the self-help groups, to earn money because many people want these liquid fertilizers. Just fish waste, not the original fish. Fish, let them eat. The fish waste, along with jaggery, produce this gunapasila or fish amino, which works out very well. Right? Today, bioenzyme is picking up a lot. You can work with bioenzyme. Simplest, which I am teaching homemakers, because homemakers usually husband, wife, both are employed. So they want fertilizer. Every day they take banana, which is a normal habit in Malaysia, Sri Lanka, Tamil Nadu. So after you eat the banana, put the peels in a bottle, add water, leave it for 3-4 days, decant the water, spray it on your plants, dilute and spray. Gives you excellent results. And by that time, the peels would rot and become soft. So dig the soil, bury them here and there. Provides enough for the microorganisms to multiply. Sir, we don't have time for all this. Dry the peels, crush the eggshells, mix them up, and put as topping. Gradual release of fertilizer takes place. Any other simple method, sir? We eat a lot of eggs. Take the eggshells, crush them. Slightly roast them. Slightly roast them on a pan. Put them in a bottle. Add vinegar. Eggshells have calcium carbonate. Vinegar is acetic acid. Immediately starts bubbling. Within 2 seconds, 3 seconds starts bubbling. And within about 36 to 48 hours, all the nutrients of the shells comes into the liquid. Dilute it, spray it. All this you can do. He is Dr. Natarajan, who worked with Panchakavya. I worked with Vermi-wash. We have done combined experiments a lot. And in case you get other type of pests, like you get root worms, we call them as verpulu, which come and eat away the roots of plants. If you get them, this rasam works out very well. Ginger, garlic, and asafoetida. Asafoetida in Tamil is perungayam. It works out very well, which you can try, you can use it. Some words about seeds and certain things I would like to bit fast so that I can complete and have some question answers. Seeds, please understand. All Asian countries, please understand that native seeds are called as heirloom seeds. We don't call them as traditional seeds, they are called as heirloom seeds. And if you buy seeds in the market, most of the seeds are colored seeds. This color is not because of the seeds. This color is because of a chemical called as neonicotinoids, which are 5th generation nasty pesticides which are coated on these. So anybody using these seeds, you have to be careful because you're not supposed to put those seeds in your mouth, or you're not supposed to put your hand in your mouth after handling those seeds till you wash your hands. We have brought alternatives using termite soil, which works out very well for me. Very well. We have tried a lot of experiments in Theni district. It works out very well for us. This is what I want you people to understand. Farmers had a right on their seeds. Today, companies have come inside, and we are moving, all our countries are moving towards genetic slavery. Please understand these words. There's a conflict between hybrids and GMOs. Hybrid is same vegetable. That is, if you have a cross of brinjal with a brinjal, it is a hybrid brinjal, right? Lemon with lemon, hybrid lemon. Mango with mango, ottu manga. GMO is incorporating a chromosome or a gene from an entirely different organism. Incorporating genes from an entirely different organism. taking from a bacteria, especially Bacillus thuringiensis, and incorporating into the organisms. For we Asians, food is medicine. It is only for Westerners who want medicine in food. We don't require medicine in food. They wanted to bring in golden rice into Asia. We protested against it, saying that vitamin A is required. Then they brought in BT cotton, which governments have permitted, saying that this is non-edible. Is it non-edible? You drink Parithi Pal, cotton seed milk. In Madurai, they prepare cotton seed halwa. In Nagapatnam and Nagaur, and cotton seed cake is fed to the cattle, and we drink that milk. Why should we have this one variety of brinjal for the whole country? India is a big country, right? In India, we have more than 60 varieties of this katrika. Supposing you take katrika, brinjal. Brinjal, India has more than 60 varieties. Why one variety of brinjal? Why white variety? One company should sell. Tamil Nadu alone has 22 varieties. And according to Government of India, we have 4,460 accessions of brinjal. Now, unfortunately, the Government of India has permitted trials, and Tamil Nadu has also agreed. September 3rd, 2020, BT trials are going to have started. Then they wanted to bring mustard. Mustard, they cleverly played with the words. They called it as Dhara mustard hybrid. They called it as a hybrid, not as BT. They called it as hybrid because it can sell. Yes, it is a hybrid. It is a hybrid, but of a genetically modified parent. Please understand these nuances. So what will happen? Biodiversity will create all the judo karate. Biotechnology will shoot it down. You may ask me, sir, are you against biotechnology? I am not against biotechnology. I am talking to you as a former head of the Department of Biotechnology. Biotechnology is something, a tool, wonderful tool. So it's something like a knife. With a knife, you can peel a potato or you can kill a person. It depends how and where you use the technology. Insulin is an excellent tool of the same technology which is used for these purposes. Water is another criteria I want you to understand. This is how our wells were, this is how our wells are, and this is how our wells are going to be. So please harvest water, work on it. And all the volunteers of 3G, I just want to tell you that I don't believe in the government maps when I go to villages, when I work for the groups, when I work for governments. I go to the villages, I believe in participatory rural appraisal, PRA. In PRA, people draw the plan. People are drawing the roads. Then people mark their houses as to whose house is there. See, after they do this, I ask the engineer to draw that plan and we work according to that. Because all the government plans are all old plans. So if you want to be successful as a 3G volunteer, you prepare your plans. This is from Punjab. Punjab, a land of 5 rivers. And listen to what this woman has to say. No water in Punjab. You see, most of the water, again, 3G volunteers, again, carefully listen to this. Almost 70% of the water or 60% of the water is released from washing machines and bathroom where we have our bath. And the only contaminant here is soap. So put up a tank, have some baffles, put in some rocks, grow these plants, and the pot looks like this. And then you send the water through that, your soap water. One of my students, Associate Professor, now Professor Radha, has worked a lot on this. We have done a lot of experiments after that, installed in several places, and then the water comes out beautifully. This water can be used for groundwater recharge, or can be used for the garden, or can be used for flushing the toilets. It's very simple, very simple. And my humble request to you is eat properly. Teach this to your school children. Wherever you go as volunteers and talk to the school children, tell them that they are overfed but undernourished. This is our blissful food, lovely balanced food, Asian food. And you think that these two can solve a problem? I'm not against food. Once in a way you can have it, but we're making it as a habit. Even birds eating there become obese. So you eat, continue to eat, you become like this. Once in a way is okay. Please be careful with obesity. Color in food. I think CAP does a lot of work on this. You also must understand that when we were young, go and ask your parents and grandparents, if they buy a sweet and leave it on the table in those days, within 2 hours, ants will come and start eating. Today, you buy a sweet and leave it on the table. Even 2 days, ants don't come. Previously, in 2 hours, ants would come. Today, ants don't eat because most of the sweets are prepared with aspartame and a lot of colors. A big experiment has been done at Smithsonian to prove how these colors transfer and go straight into the body by feeding ants with sugar solutions dipped with color. You can see those beautiful bellies rich with color. And this, I presume that some findings have reported that it actually accelerates ADHD in children, attention deficit hyperactive disorder in children. So please talk to people in schools. Most of the colors are dangerous colors. Most of the colors. You see, Rava is one thing which I don't understand, semolina. In our Indian culture, Sri Lankan culture, whatever Sri Lanka may prepare those other type of sweets, right? Still kesari is prepared. And when you can eat upma as white, not vatlapam, this is upma, okay? You add color, it becomes kesari with sweet. Why can't kesari be white in color? Or you can color it with beetroot juice or carrot juice. Because most of the colors in the market are not kesar. It is a chemical powder. So we are cooking cansari, not kesari. This is again from consumer. I have used the symbol over here. All the chicken pakoras in most of the shops, gobi pakoras in the shops, they are all highly colored, and this color is very dangerous. Orange is this color, right? If orange is this color, why is a particular brand sold in the market orange in color? Why? Understand that most of the peas in Asian countries, which are peeled and sold in the market, are colored. Are colored. So what are we eating? Look at the color which is being used. All sorts of colors are being used so that people can consume, right? And a new injection is coming into the market, syringe for cattle. It's called as the RBGH, recombinant bovine growth hormone. Now, once you inject this, you can take all the milk from the cow. But within about 3 or 3.5 years, the cow will develop mastitis of the udder. Madi vyadhi அப்படின்னுவாங்க. Mastitis of the udder. This is on one side. But girl children drinking this milk in rural areas, which is not pasteurized, in about 8 to 9 years, they will attain puberty. Their entire hormone system will be affected. I've been talking about this for a long time, but I want to show you one video here. A just born female calf to a cow is giving milk. Half a liter of milk from a just born calf because of these hormone problems. Can you understand what is happening, children? I hope you are clear now that we have a major role to perform. And all our Asian countries use silver foil. Very, very few are genuine silver foil. Most of the shops which are selling is a combination of 5 heavy metals. Kidneys will be gone. Do we require a foil on the sweet? Is it necessary? Please understand. So what is the easiest way of eating healthy? Don't eat what is advertised on the TV. Food doesn't require an advertisement. So eat whatever is healthy. And please eat cereals, dhanyangal. I don't mean cereal is not those boxes which are sold by some brand names which start with a K or a B or a P. I'm talking about minor millets. And tell your moms to feed you with this rather than watching those stupid serials which are coming on the televisions nowadays. Plastics again, 3G, please volunteer, go to the schools, talk to them about plastic. 6 types of plastic, now 7th variety, which includes everything, any other plastic. Now this may contain BPA, bisphenol A. How do I know, sir, which plastic it is? A genuine company will always have a branded product will have this triangle with the number written on it. If you have a plastic bottle, you can check it with you now. Any decent, good company will have this triangle with the plastic number on it. If you don't find a number, please don't buy that plastic. Right? This is plastic number 7. They must declare it is BPA free. Some companies manufacture plastic. They'll put the triangle, but there'll be no number, which means they are cheating you. They are cheating you. Please understand. And all foreign countries have brought a regulation that any products produced for children should be declared as phthalate and BPA free. I am warning you people because feeding bottles, children water bottles, children lunch boxes are coming in plastic number 7. They must declare it as BPA free. Please see to it and create a sort of a movement. Okay. This thermocol plates, styrofoam, is meant only for biscuits or ice cream or probably ordinary bread slice. Anything hot you leave it on styrofoam will leave a mark, which means the stearine from that plate is going into the food and you are eating it, and you are eating cancer. Cap called it as white coffin, if I remember right. Microplastics, I'm very much worried about them. Very much worried. Today, microplastic is coming in shampoos and toothpaste. It's your duty, 3G volunteers, you stop using them first. And please tell all your friends to stop using them because today it is found in bottled water. It has reached water. Chennai, where I live in, Madras, already we have identified 6 microplastics. I means not I. The people from Metro Water have, they have identified. Right? It is already found in salt. It is found in fish. Very recently, June 2020, it is reportedly found in fruits and vegetables. And just today, I received a February 2021 report. Many people tell me, that I buy a paper cup, sir. I don't use plastic cup. Paper cups are lined inside with a minor plastic, which is more dangerous than drinking in a plastic cup. For all those people who say, I am taking a paper cup and not using plastic cup, I would like to tell you that paper cup has a thinner lining of plastic inside so that it can hold the tea or coffee till you finish. And it is more dangerous than a plastic cup. So carry your own tumblers. Be careful. And today I received this published, which was broadcasted on Sun News on February 2nd, very recently. Placenta has microplastics. Can you understand where we have reached? Please be careful. I love this statement by Kalyanji. அடிக்கடி பார்க்க முடிகிறது யானையை கூட மாதக்கணக்காயிற்று மண்புழுவை பார்த்து. We are not able to see earthworms, but we are able to see elephants. He's a popular Tamil writer. So shall we reworm the world? Right? Today, when it rains, water is not able to go through our soils. We need our worms back, especially local worms, which will create burrows. And once these burrows are ready, when the rain comes, water will be harvested. We have to bring back the worms. And that is the circulatory system of the soil. But if you want to work on all this, have patience. Because today, even if you walk politely, there is somebody ready to push you down. So 3G team, they will try to push you. Be careful. Be careful. And subjects, all those who are volunteers, I never understood maths and chemistry in my life. This is what was maths and chemistry for me. And many people feel that in life, if you have to grow Asian children, that they must be either doctors or engineers or computers. And anything other than that is a disgrace for the family. And for all those who are listening to me, you are listening to a disgrace. It is not what you study that matters. It is what you learn that matters. So whatever you may be, you volunteers, try to develop a passion for your subject. Try to develop a passion and relate it with the environment. And that is what brings you what you are. And that is the greatest reward of my research I got. This was an old book, science book, published for the 10th standard students, which many of them would have studied it. Maybe Brito would have studied this when he was in Tamil. I don't know. The term vermitech was coined by me for the world. Great achievement for life. But the greater achievement was waiting for me now in 2019, when government of Tamil Nadu published the textbooks. They have quoted my work into it. That is what is achieving something in life. Is that clear? So as a volunteer, you start working. Don't look for credits. Credits come automatically. You may not get awards in life, but you will get rewards like this in life. So work for rewards. I always wanted to demystify science. My good friend, Dr. D.K. Pandey from the Government of India, he said no compromise on great concepts. So we brought in simple tasks, great concepts. For you volunteers, those who are interested in working with children, working with schools, working with compounds, there are 100 life science experiments in this book. Of course, the book is not available. All the experiments have been uploaded. And I'll give you the website in the last slide. You can note down the website. You can download, you can use. I happen to interact with Kalam sir also on this. That was the team which developed it. One small thing which you must understand what is happening in my country today. Rain is falling on the soil. Whom does the water belong to? Rain is falling on the soil. Whom does the water belong to? You will say, to the soil, sir. In case you carry a pot and leave it there and collect water in the pot, now whom does that water belong to? You will say, me, sir. I kept the pot, sir. I collected the water, sir. But I gave you that pot. Now I want my pot back. Now whom does the water belong to? You may say, you, sir. But I gave you only the pot. You collected the water. But you have no other pot. So what will you do? This is the situation my farmers are facing in my country. Their land, their effort. Corporates want to throw some money and want to harvest all the yields. I hope you got my point across. And if you want to work for your environment, the most important word is management. Most important. Yes. Without the last letter T, it is management. That is manage human beings. And without the last letter Yan, it is manage me. So if you really want to work for 3G in environment, you first learn to manage yourself before you manage others. And that is management. You don't need a MBA to understand this. Is that clear? Try to do your work. Don't expect any rewards. And don't tell that it is not your job. Now, this chap moving around can go quietly. But this bear has a sort of a consideration that people will meet with an accident, leaves it in its place and goes away. So let us do our work, carry it further. And with every child that is born comes a message. I love this message, that God is not yet disappointed with man. So let us leave behind a healthy environment, all for Earth's sake. That's our eye view. But who cares? Don't go and ask for any paichi or training for this from Brito. What you require is effort or muyarchi. So put in your efforts. This is a Tamil book. Of course, I have to ask permission to translate now in English. My book in Tamil, which gives everything about the soil. And to conclude, I just wanted to share with you people a beautiful couplet in Urdu, which I read long back. Soil is speaking to you. Soil is speaking to you in Urdu. I know that none of you will follow Urdu, so I'll tell it in English. In English, it says, soil is telling you, do not show any favor to me, would be the greatest favor you would show to me. If at all you want to show me some favor, allow me to live. Allow me to live. Soil is begging us to live. So let us work for the soil. All the best. Good luck to you all. Thank you. The websites are here. The first website gives you all the procedures. The third website has all the 100 science experiments. And that's my email ID. So thanks very much, John, and thanks, Subha. And thanks to the team, Hussein and Fasiha and the others who participants. A wonderful evening. I'm just exiting this so that we can interact.
Fasiha, over to you.
Hey, Lakshmi is there. Lakshmi was my old student. Hi. One thing I must tell you, John and Subbarao, Lakshmi Narayana, Subbarao, he's your Manavadu. Is Subba there? Is Subbarao there or ran away? Hey, Subba. Oditara. Anyway, Lakshmi Narayan is heading a biotech firm and producing wonderful eco-friendly repellents using pheromones and other things. And recently has also taken patent for a large number of things. I think someday you must also invite him for a talk to your participants. Lakshmi is there. Lakshmi Narayana Praharaju is sitting over there and waving his hand. John, you can see him.
Yeah. He's from where, and can he leave his?
He is from Hyderabad. He is from Hyderabad.
Okay. Please, sir, can you leave your email?
I can forward his number, or you can put it in the chat box. Lakshmi, you can put your email ID in the chat.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, thank you. Fasiha.
Sure, sir. So thank you so much, Dr. Sultan. It was really informative and we learned a lot. And we have a lot of questions. First, I'll start from the ones from the link. We have questions from anonymous participants. So, number one, what's the use of sprinkling salt while making compost? So that was the first question. If you can
Sprinkling
answer.
salt?
Yes.
We don't sprinkle salt. We sprinkle cow dung. Salt we normally don't sprinkle on compost because salt can be disastrous. If you put too much, then microorganisms don't prefer salt. So we don't use salt. If somebody is doing it, then they're doing it by mistake. If they want, they can sprinkle salt around the compost pile because salt will prevent some of the organisms, ants and other things to move towards the compost pile.
Thank you, sir. So another one, in one of your videos on YouTube, you say that fluoride in water is sufficient for tooth. Can you please tell us more about these deceiving marketing tactics?
Deceiving marketing tactics is what happened was suddenly fluoride toothpaste were introduced in Asian countries. Western countries, water is consumed very rarely. They even with food, they would prefer beer or anything else. So water doesn't reach them. In most of our tropical countries like Malaysia, Sri Lanka, India, our water itself has enough quantity of fluoride in it. And moreover, we take fish, we take tea. Tea has a lot of fluoride in it. So if you take excess of fluoride, then it can cause fluorosis for children, both in the teeth as well as in the bones. So it is advisable that you don't use a fluoride toothpaste unless recommended by the doctor and if the case desires to be so. That is the reason I have told that don't take it. It's all marketing techniques. And one more thing, I think Lakshmi will remember, John will remember, in those days when fluoride toothpaste was introduced in India, a small child will take the toothpaste in the finger, put it on the tongue and say, it is very tasty.
Very tasty.
So empty stomach, fluoride level shoots up in the body. Was not required for our country. That is what I wanted to say.
Thank you. Next one, are milk powder brands or packaged fresh milk good for children or people in general? Because even in our country, there was a big, even politicians, they said milk powder brands are not good. So what's your opinion, sir?
It depends. It depends. Like in countries where fresh milk cannot be sold according to policies also there. There is no alternative. But fresh milk, in fact, if you go to a vegan, they will say that milk itself is not required. So we can live even without milk. But if you want milk, fresh milk is always better. Among fresh milk, pasteurized milk is becoming better because it's being treated so that all the microorganisms are destroyed. But some of the fresh milk packers use hydrogen peroxide in milk so that the milk doesn't get spoiled. And that is not healthy. Addition of fixatives in milk, that's how you get some of the packs by private dealers. I do not know the brands. I don't wish to mention the brands also and put you people into complication. But you have to be careful. You have to go through what are the additions made into those milk before you consume those milk products.
Another one from Shakira. She would like to know what it means, the numbers mentioned in plastic containers like What do they mean?
Each one is a different brand of plastic. One is PET, then you have HDPE, hydrogen, high density polyethylene. You have LDPE, low density polyethylene. You have PP. Plastic number 5 is PP, polypropylene. Plastic number 6 is your polystyrene, PS. So each number represents one type of plastic. And plastic number 7 is any other plastic. It's a khichdi.
The next question is actually mine, sir. You mentioned we can go to farming areas and help the farmers. So since most of us, we don't have a background in agriculture, so what can should we invite someone, or like what's the first step we can take to help people in Sri Lanka?
First step is you must develop an interest. You must work on it. You must try your hands on some of the experiments, because you are talking to a chap on agriculture who did not study agriculture.
So,
I did not study agriculture. I'm a zoologist, but I developed a passion for it and started working for it. Lakshmi, who is working so much, is not an entomologist. He studied zoology, right? Now, it is not what you study that matters. It is your passion that builds you up as to what you are. So you can. Fasya, if you want, I don't know where you are based. You are based in Sri Lanka or whether you are based in Malaysia. But wherever you are based, if you can form a small group, first learn. First learn. Don't go and teach without learning. First put your hands in the soil. First start working on it. Maybe someday when there's a workshop, you participate, learn, then start teaching people. I don't like people who read textbooks and go and teach others. I don't believe in it.
So I have seen a person, a normal person, just like my father, his friend. He has learned on his own online, and he has 2 cows, and he has created this vermicompost, biogas, everything in his garden. Um, so is it possible, like, to do like that in a normal household, or is it like, is there someone to guide us
You can
in
do
that?
composting in a household. It's not a problem. Vermicomposting, doing it in a household is not a problem. My home, whatever I have spoke to you, I'm doing it at home. My home has a compost unit. I have a vermicompost unit. My laundry water is completely treated and goes back to my garden. So if you have the will, you have the way.
Thank you.
That's it.
So anyone,
And congratulations to your father's friend who is doing it, because in that case, he has learned to do it. He would have made mistakes. He would have rectified. He has perfected it himself.
yes, thank you, sir. Now, anyone else who would like to ask a question, you can please unmute yourself and ask. Anyone, please?
Fasika?
John?
Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you, Dr. Sultan Ismail. It's great to hear your voice, first of all. We love your voice. I always say that. And I think my father used to say that you have to be very careful of what goes inside your mouth and what goes out of your mouth.
Yeah,
So,
what you speak and what you eat.
yes. Yeah.
Mm.
So I think that's a very important topic about which you have given lots of light. I would like to ask you a question. You have already talked about what 3G members have to do. There were lots of things that you have suggested. I would like you to suggest 3 very important, simple, practical projects that they can do. One, at their personal level, at their house, or where they can execute a simple project. Second, at the workplace. Many of them, I think most of them are working. So at the workplace, what they can do. And the third, at an orphanage or a school nearby where they have where they can go and help the children. So personal level, work level, and school level.
Yeah, what I would suggest is if they can do everything at home. They can do composting at home. They can grow plants at home. They can do whatever they want to do at home. But when they go to the workplace, if they go and tell that you have to manage your waste, nobody will cooperate with them. So they must first start teaching them what to eat and what not to eat. Create an awareness. That would be easier. And in schools, they can start teaching them first. Teaching them how to grow a plant in a small container. Like fenugreek. Fenugreek is the easiest thing. So every child, Sri Lanka, for example, has a lot of coconut shells. So every child brings 1, 2 coconut shells from their home. The teacher can help, or your volunteer can help them set up those things, put fenugreek over there, grow the methi, and the children take it home to give it to their mother. They can start with that. That would be the simplest and easy things to start with. And then gradually they start asking the volunteers for more, and then we can add up on it. I would ask Lakshmi to add up a few things. Lakshmi, would you like to add something?
Yeah.
On what these volunteers can do?
See, I think the best example what you said is doing it right from the school. That's what I liked about it. So you're giving enough space for them to understand and couple it up with more inputs. It would be better as they learn.
As they learn, yeah. Because Lakshmi, what I felt was, especially children, small children in school, the moment those small seeds starts germinating and the plants start coming, they get the thrill and the anxiety.
Very true. Very true. They feel the power of creation.
Yeah.
They feel they have created something. I mean, that gives a lot of pleasant feeling too. And I mean, one more thing. I mean, if you permit me, I just wanted to take you back on the biodiversity of tiger, where you said, I mean, you need 525 deer.
520 deer if it's taking 552. Yeah, it's a rough calculation of 10%.
For grazing. I mean, since we have been working on the mycoherbicides, especially, I had been to the deer park in Hyderabad, which is a vast area. Now the situation is it is all ridden with weeds, which cannot be edible, like especially Lantana camara and Parthenium hysterosporum. So what is happening is the caretakers are feeding these deers. They are excess in number. They may be more than 510 acre. They are excess in number. They are feeding with green grass. I mean, they're getting it like you feed any cattle for milking animals, milk animals. They're feeding like that. And most of the other areas, I mean, this is becoming a big problem. Like grazing areas are reducing because of the weed taking over that.
But lantana is also a problem in Sri Lanka and Malaysia.
Of course, I mean, for the Sri Lankan audience, I mean, we closely work with Haley's in their agriculture division in Sri Lanka. We are trying to initiate some of the work for water hyacinth, especially there, because the fish is getting really troubled with this weed. The second thing, what I wanted to tell to people is, I mean, see, like in Australia, most of it is grazing lands. And the grazing lands are reducing. I mean, see, in each pocket, they're in excess of, say, something like about 17, 18 million hectares. And the cattle are left to feed in there. And again, the culprits are Parthenium and Lantana, which are having a lot of problems with the animal feeding on them. And the resultant meat product is becoming tainted, and they're having lacerations. All this problem, even they're developing diseases, skin diseases, asthmatic attacks. Then the snout also getting D-shaped and other things. I think this is one of the major area. What I'm feeling is the calculation. What you have put 520 deer, 5,000 acres. This is not only that. I mean, because of the biodiversity disturbance, the weeds are taking over. So this is a very important thing in biodiversity. I think even in your talk next time, I think maybe if you're adding this, that will be much more appropriate for people also.
Yeah, that would be true. I can add up on this Parthenium and Lantana and things like that. But basically, I wanted them to take care of the soil to grow it. In fact, John Brito is based in Australia, and that would be good information for him to work over there as well. Good.
In fact, I think the Indo-Australian Chamber of Commerce, there is a webinar scheduled from 22nd or 23rd for about 3 days. I think I'll be speaking on agriculture issues there.
Good.
And I will share the link.
Yeah, please.
You can share it with John. That would
Yes,
be
yeah.
useful over there. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
please share.
Good.
Fasiga, I would like to recognize the presence of Dr. Pei from Taiwan. She has joined from Taiwan. And teachers like Suja from Malaysia. Malaysia, we have past President Nurul and the present President Prabha and other members. And we have present President of 3G Cambodia, Sabot, and a few of our members from Cambodia. Cambodia also we have people attending now. And I think from Thailand, two of them are they have joined, and we have one Sri Lankan moved to Japan. She has also joined now from Japan. So it's like Taiwan, Japan, and Cambodia, and did I say Taiwan? Okay, and then Thailand.
There's also a principal from a school from Trichendur, Selva Vaishnavi. She has also joined.
Oh, okay.
I think I may be given 1 minute to share the success story. Professor Sir, good evening. Good evening, all.
Good evening. Good evening.
Yeah, please.
Actually, I take it an opportunity to thank Dr. Sultan Ismail, because once or twice he has, 3 or 4 times he has visited our school, spoken to us regarding all this. These are all very new to us at that time. And he trained our teachers and students on this. And happy to inform you all that we have started a project on solid waste management. And I think we have got more than 1,500 trees in our school campus. And all this dry leaves, solid waste are all being collected and processed. And very successfully, this compost organic manure is being sold by students now. Like farmers in and around
I
area.
must apply for my royalty and take some money from there now.
With pleasure. With pleasure. 100%. Because
on the lighter side. On the lighter side.
there is so much of awareness. I'm so happy to add that students, especially +1 students, they take active part in this. So great initiation from your side. And a few of you were referring to schools. And I, as I represent a school, this is a wonderful thing. And thank you so much, sir, for making it happening in our campus. Because Dr. Ismail is there in Chennai, and we are there in the down south. It is a very remote village.
You are with Murugar.
Okay.
Happily sitting with Trichendur Murugar Goil near
the So you did not hesitate it. When we made it as a success story in our school, and it is possible everywhere. Thank you so much.
It's possible. Thank you. Thank you, Vaishnavi.
And
Vinodini, I don't know, is from Chennai or from somewhere else. I know one Vinodini from Chennai, from the Naturals group. I think probably she has attended. Yeah.
No, I think that is our international president, Dr. Vinodini from Malaysia.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. Because one person I know here is also there.
I think Fasiha, can we close? Hussein?
So, do we have time for like 2 quick questions? Is it okay?
Okay.
We have 2 more. Somebody asked alternatives for killing bug-eating plants instead of using pesticides. I think it was
I'm not able to hear you.
Alternative
for
killing,
alternative for
killing bugs eating plants instead of using pesticides.
Yeah, that's the reason I said we don't kill, we repel them. Pest repellents. There are also pheromones, like what Lakshmi does for his company. In fact, Lakshmi Nani, I think you should put your email ID into the chat box. And, these are all alternatives. Pheromone traps are there. Liquid traps are there. Then we have this companion plants which can attract the pests. Marigolds are there. Extracts are there. From kitchen waste, you can prepare a lot of extracts. These are all possible.
Another one, any alternative to use instead of natu sakkare to make mean amilam.
Instead of natu sakkare to make mean amilam.
Yes.
Mean
Any
amilam.
alternative?
Mean amilam, we have to add something sugary because sugars and protein combined helps the microorganisms to multiply.
Media.
So in case natu sakkara is not available, you can use jaggery. If jaggery is not available, you can use sugar. Otherwise, buy glucose powder and add it up. Some sugar solution. Because it is organic, we prefer natu sakkara. That's all, nothing else.
Thank you. So I hope do we have any other questions? All right. If you have, you can unmute yourself and quickly ask. So I guess not. Thank you so much, sir. It
Thank
was
you.
very useful. So we can, if we want to contact you, like, is it possible to send you an email so we can
I have
directly
sent an email
contact?
ID. Yeah, and don't expect the reply immediately. Yeah.
Okay. And if they are interested in future lectures, like if they like a Facebook page, will they be updated on lectures and all that?
Okay. Let us see about all that later. Now it's your time to say the vote of thanks.
Okay. So thank you so much, everyone, for participating, and thank you so much, the other special guests here. So we
Yeah.
would also arrange more sessions like this in future. Thank you,
Thank you.
Sir
And I
John Brito.
personally thank John Brito, Lakshmi Narayan, Subbarao, Hussein and Fasiha who came and touched me, and all the other participants who came today. And thank you very much. Selva Vaishnavi was also there. Thank you. Thank you, so Vaishnavi. Yeah.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
So, Hussein Nana,
Thank-
shall we conclude?
Yeah, we can conclude. Yeah, we can conclude this. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
if we
Let's
have
end the session,
future
right?
events like this, yeah, if we have future events like this, Hussein Nana will organize with Sir John Brito, and we'll create more events like this, right? Talk series, and we can send you links, and everyone
Yes.
can join.
Yeah.
Yes, Sir John.
Prabha, do you want to say about your talk series? You can give a small intro because others can also join. Unmute.
Hello guys, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It was awesome session. Thank you 3G Sri Lanka and Mr. John to organize this. So guys, on 21st of January, which is on Sunday, we'll be having.
February.
Oh yeah, sorry sir, February. I was just running the whole day, so and a bit a bit mesmerized with Dr. Sultan's sharing regarding this agriculture and ugly culture. So yeah, to the point, 21st of February, we will be having Dr. Magimai Prakasam from India. So he's the director of Center for Communication and Mind. So he'll be conducting a section on NLP. So for more details, we will upload in the page, and as well as I will share in WhatsApp group. I invite everyone to join us on 21st. So I think that's all from me. Thank you, sir. Thank you, guys, everyone.
Thank you. Bye. Akansha, you left and joined, I